The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances.
Welcome everyone to Spotlight with that B. This is episode 10. I am super proud that we already are at episode 10. This week, I am doing something again a little bit different. This week, I am doing a spotlight on my birthday event. I went ahead and throughout the month of July, which is when my birthday falls, I went ahead and started searching for what I was going to do on my actual birthday. Because of different personal losses I experienced within the past few years, prior to this year, I had made the conscious choice this year to actually go out and celebrate myself and do something that I really enjoy to do. So at the end of the day, what I decided to do is I decided to go see one of my favorite DJs here in Miami, and that is Jason Panton. And he happened to be DJing an event in Miami, a new event that is called Fame. So I definitely thought this is perfect. One of my favorite DJs. He is actually my favorite Afrobeats, reggae, Caribbean music DJ here in Miami. I have done a spotlight on one of his other nights that he does here in Miami, which is called The Shrine. I do plan on doing that once again when I start bringing to you more on all of the events that he does do here in Miami. He does do events where he travels out of state. I know he's been to New York. I know he's been to LA. He also goes international. He's done a few in Africa. I know he goes back to Jamaica and he does events there and other different Caribbean islands and other countries. So when I am able to go out, get into where he's actually at, which usually isn't an issue, but I'm going to be honest, he's a very sought after creative and DJ, and it's something where often enough the lines for where he is spinning are ridiculous. So when I say get in, I'm really saying I don't really want to make a ridiculous line. And fortunately for him, but unfortunately for myself, it is something where he does bring in a big crowd. So it was perfect that on my actual birthday, this was the event that was being had. I made the decision quickly once I knew that it was going on. I did reach out to him and let him know that I will be popping up. And I did let him know that it was my birthday. So for quite some time, I had been trying to make it where it was a possibility with my schedule and his own schedule to actually go out and experience one of the nights where he wasn't at the Shrine, which for those that know, you know that it's located in Red Rooster in the rooftop here in Miami. For those that didn't know, well, you know now, I will have a quick screenshot of the page on IG for the Shrine, also for Jason and his page, and also for the page that is for Fame Miami, which is the event that I actually went to. I honestly recommend anything that he's doing. I have once again done a spotlight on him and tried to encourage more people to follow his page because he is definitely one of the creatives that I am aware of that does many things. He doesn't just DJ, he has his hands in so many things, including he does his own merch. He's done fashion. It's something where he's also done art. Um, he manages groups, artists. He also manages DJs, and it's just so many things that he actually has um, his hands in, as I like to say. That it is always something where I want to definitely go and support because at the event that I might be going to, I might now be introduced to something else that maybe Jason is doing. At this particular event, it was at a location I have been to prior, um, a few months ago, and I even think around Art Basel, I went to one of the events that Headliner was having at this location, and this location is called Tomorrowland. It is in Miami, and it is an outdoor location. It was extremely hot, as it has been in Miami for, it feels like, at least a couple months now. So there was a good thing, and that was that that particular night, I guess because it was my birthday and Mother Nature wanted to give me a nice gift, it was nice and breezy, so it was helping with the heat. But it is something that a lot of us ladies at the event, we were commenting on, especially when we were all standing in line for the bathroom or in the bathroom. It's something that was being commented on. Um, I had no issues whatsoever with getting anything to drink at the bar. Um, it is something where you might have to make a little bit of a line for the actual drinks because it is a smaller location. But price wise, it was feasible. The few times I did go up and ask for just ice because it was so hot. I usually don't drink a lot when I go out, as I've mentioned in my previous lives. But it is something where um, I did have a beer. I wanted to make an exception because it was my birthday and I was celebrating myself. But it was so hot that after that, I really just wanted water. So they didn't give me any issues. And I mention this because that is a tip I usually give other women when they're out here in Miami. Is especially when it's these events where it's extremely hot, staying hydrated is so important. And a lot of locations like to give people a hard time when you are asking for a cup of ice. Now, my advice is ask for a cup of ice because with the heat, it's going to start melting and you will, in maybe a few minutes, you're going to have water anyways. Don't bother getting the water. And like that, you could also cool off. So I did do that a couple times. It did help a lot. But I did want to mention that the heat was insane. Good thing the music and the vibe was everything. He, of course, did not disappoint. He never does. I have mentioned in the past that my favorite genre of music, contrary to what most people think, is reggae. And it's really reggae culture, which is the type of music that he specializes in as far as when he's DJing. He's also an amazing Afro beats DJ. Um, and again, he did not disappoint at this event. He was not the only DJ. One of the DJs when I first got there was a female DJ, and I believe, and I did get a screenshot. Sorry, not a screenshot. I did get a clip of her DJing, and also I got a picture of her with her laptop, and I believe it says DJ Mini. When you see the picture, wherever it is on whatever side, you will be able to see the actual DJ name. I thought she was actually really, really good. I was definitely vibing out when she was on. I always like to see all different types of DJs when I'm out, and I definitely promote seeing female DJs. I think female DJs sometimes bring a different perspective with their curating with music. So it's nice to see that they are incorporating female DJs in the event. Um, it was still light out when I did show up. I recommend for a lot of these events in Miami, especially if they're outdoors, is you bring your sunglasses. And a lot of these people that are attending also have theirs on. They keep them on for the remaining time that they are there, whether it gets dark or not. And I was like, again, um, I'm here to have fun. It is my birthday, so when in Rome. Um, it is something where as as the sun went down, the curating is affected. And if you've ever been to an outdoor event here in Miami, one of the things you will pick up on is the music starts to change in regards to the vibes that are being played, the type of crowd that starts to show up. Um, I did get some video and I did get some pictures to show how initially, as I always do, initially it is a nice small crowd, but as time goes by and the music starts bumping, more people start showing up and more people, and like usual, by the time I left, it was extremely crowded, but by the time it was so hot that I think it was maybe around um 11:30 or midnight, because it was a day event. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it was a day event. And by around 11:30 midnight, it was already time for me to go, and the temperature still hadn't dropped enough. It was still extremely hot, but I started realizing that more people were showing up and more people were showing up, and it was just getting even hotter. Um, I was having a lot of fun, but it was just it. I think for myself, after a certain point, I was out there a couple hours. It's something where um, especially if it's that hot, once it starts getting to be too much for me, that is when I know it's time for me to go. But again, it had already been a few hours that I was out there. I was drenched in sweat, but I had the biggest smile on my face the entire time. I have danced so much at this event. The entire time was thinking I chose the perfect place to celebrate my 51st year on this beautiful earth. um, let's see, what else would I want to mention to everyone? The music varied from, I know they played some compa. I know they played some Afro beats. I know that they played reggae. I know that they played culture. Um, I want to say a couple times I might have even heard some type of reggaeton or some type of Spanish music. I know that Jason likes to keep it spicy. You definitely are going to be moving your body if you go to one of the events that he DJs. That I have no doubt in my mind about. I also got a few clips of different people dancing throughout the night. I must say this in regards to all the events that I go to here in Miami. I must say, one of the events where I know I will see men, women, couples, everyone dancing throughout the night is at Jason's events. Um, I have since the early 2000s is when I started going to events that he was throwing. I actually found out about Jason through a couple supervisors and a manager that I had when I worked at Air Jamaica, and they would throw parties. So then they would also attend other events that were being thrown or parties. And they were all the same type of music. So one of these events I decided to go, and that's how I happened upon Jason DJing. Um, the moment I heard his set, the first thing I started asking was, who is this DJ? At the time, he was extremely young. So it was impressive then, and now 20 years later, it is even more impressive. He, I believe, has definitely become another DJ that is becoming a master at his art. Which I'm not surprised because, as I mentioned, he does so many things and he's just so super creative. I wish him nothing but the best and continued success because I know his character matches his talent. It is through the roof. He's super respectful. To me, he's always been extremely kind. And it's something where you really don't mind supporting somebody that is just an all around amazing creative and decent human being. So I'm trying to think if at any time I have been to an event where it's either something that he is putting together or something where he's actually performing or DJing, where I have not enjoyed myself. And to be honest with you, I can't think of an event. And it's been this many years. So the reason I am mentioning that is because a lot of people don't know about Jason and they might think that he's actually something new, but in actuality, he's been doing this for quite some time, which is it's my thinking, a strong possibility of why he is so in tuned with what to do to have people that come see him, especially DJ, what to actually do to get you enjoying yourself with dancing, with his particular vibe actually makes you want to socialize as you're at the event. So back to what I was saying. I know, and I have no doubt in my mind that if you end up attending one of his events, you would definitely enjoy yourself. If he happens to come into your city, I definitely recommend it. If you like Afro beats, if you like reggae, if you like culture, if you like Caribbean music, whatever it is that you call it, you will definitely enjoy yourself at one of these events. Let me get a drink of water. I'm getting excited. So, I was there a few hours. It is something where all the music I really enjoyed. I did dance a lot. As far as the attire, it was casual. I got to wear, I had a short set, it was like a linen type of short set, tank top joint. And I wore it with some strappy sandals. In the pictures and in the content, you will see the way everyone is dressed. Again, it is an outdoor event. Not all his events are outdoors. Please check the flyers or his page or the page that, is for the actual event to find out first if there is a dress code and what the dress code is. That I definitely want to say because you might actually make an entire line to get into one of these events, and at the end of the day, you're not dressed appropriately, and I would hate for somebody to be turned away when they could have just known ahead of time. Parking was literally within walking distance. I did park on the street. I think I might have had to walk just a couple feet, maybe the equivalent of less than a block from my parking to the, which was meter parking, but from my parking to the actual event. So that was a win for me. Um, as far as entry, I know that it was a really low cover, but only because I was getting there as late as I did. I didn't want to go there too early. I just wanted to make sure I was there just a couple hours. And the crowd was a really good crowd. I got to talk to a few people. Everybody was very friendly. Um, it's not something where I normally frequent his events. I have gone often, but I know that he has supporters that I have seen not just online at all of his events, but that actually go every weekend for sure for the shrine to attend his events. So I know they have, it seems like, a community. At no time did I ever feel unwelcomed. And that is another reason why I love doing his events. He just tends to have this energy that is very welcoming. And it's something that you definitely get that entire vibe when you go to the events. So this was no different. Again, I spoke to a few people. Everybody was super friendly. I was getting my content. I was taking my pictures. I got to talk to Jason. He did wish me happy birthday, which meant the world to me. Again, I've known him forever and a day, it feels like. So 20 years. Now, we're not the best as a friends, and it's not something where um, we are extremely close, but I'm making the point to say that he's definitely somebody that I know his character, because I do want to mention as much as I can that he is extremely respectful. So it is something where I'm there alone, and I mention this often on my lives. I am there alone. Um, I'm feeling very um, welcomed, and at no time do I feel unsafe. And I must say, at all his events, that is the feeling that I get. I'm feeling very safe. I'm feeling like I can approach anybody, like anyone can approach me. Like I'm going to have no issues. And if something were to arise, I know I could always go to someone and they will handle it, especially Jason. But I'm going to tell you, I've never had an issue. So if there's a group of ladies or a lady like myself that wants to go on their own, you will have no problems there, rest assured. And if you do, it's just a matter of addressing it immediately with someone. But I have never seen an issue, and I've never experienced one. And if you follow me, you know that this is something that I definitely look for when I do all the events that I do. Safety and an amazing vibe. And I had both. So, I again put together all the content that you'll be seeing throughout this episode. I didn't get a lot. I really wanted to enjoy myself, but I wanted to make sure that I also documented um, my experience and mentioned everything that I mentioned on this episode because I know he is a very humble man, not just a humble creative. In in the way of, I know that he could boast on all his accomplishments and maybe have a much larger platform, but that's not the type of person that he is. And I have no qualms whatsoever to be the person that is shouting it from the mountaintops that he definitely is a creative that deserves a spotlight and deserves to be seen. So I hope this entices a lot of people to not just check out his events, but to also check out his page and whatever it is that he is currently working on. So once again, the event was called Fame Miami, and it is a day event. He did mention in the event that I believe he's going to be doing it once a month. I wasn't aware until he said it in the actual event, sorry. And it is a Haitian event, which I enjoyed, but it explains why I also heard some compa. So again, I really, really enjoyed it. When they do it again, if it's something where my schedule is free, I would definitely go again. I will be doing, this is something I decided after having such a good time at this event again. I will be doing a series, I guess you can call it, of the events where Jason is either promoting the event or the DJ at the event, because I do want others to see all the different events that he does, whether it be Dubwise, which is on Wednesdays at a spot called Goyo Taco here in Miami, in Wynwood, or whether it's Saturday nights at the Shrine. Saturday nights are for the Shrine. And that's at Red Rooster on the rooftop, or whether it's these events he does on different times, sometimes monthly, sometimes certain times out of the, or certain days out of the week, sometimes for particular holidays. It is something where I will try to frequent more of these so I can bring those to everyone as well and spotlight those events as well. Again, I have no doubt in my mind. It is something where if you want to move, you want to dance, you want to feel in community, and you want to experience not just networking, but a really positive socializing event, these are the events you definitely need to go to. I enjoy going to these events as much as I do the doo-wop, a headliner event, anything R&B money, and anything you really do see that I promote. It is something where, again, I hope this inspires you, whoever is watching this, to try it out, especially if you like that genre of music. I really enjoyed myself. The next day, I was extremely sore, y'all. My legs and my hips, where I needed to be iced from head to toe. But I must say, for like a good week, I just couldn't stop smiling. It just left me with such a feel-good feeling that I, for sure, was definitely convinced that a spotlight was something that I needed to do, because once again, I feel like I need to spread the word so more people can find out about it and support everything that he's doing. For my next episode, I will be doing a spotlight on an event. I went to a couple events after my birthday event, and one of those was it was about 6 days after my birthday. I went to go see Keith Sweat, and I attended the Keith Sweat birthday bash here at the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, Florida. And then I did the doo-wop, which was the after party after the event. So for episode 11, I will be bringing you my experience at both of those events. And that will be episode 11. But for the time being, please enjoy all the content that you will be seeing within this episode. Check out Jason's page, Jason Panton. Check out the page for the Shrine and also Fame Miami, all located on IG. And I guess I will catch everybody for episode 11. And have an amazing day. Spread love and walk with integrity, everyone. Peace.